Good morning, everyone, and my name is Ann Winkle, and I am so excited to be starting this class, Building Finance, EDL 854, and this is my presentation for Module 1, Communicating Who I Am, and here we go. First of all, a little bit about myself. This is a picture of my family. I was born and raised in Glen Elder, Kansas, which is a small town in north central Kansas. Family of 5. My dad, pictured right here, co-owns and operates Wigo Manufacturing, which manufactures and sells livestock equipment in Glen Elder. My mom is the vice president at a credit union in Beloit, which is a little bigger town close to Glen Elder. My older brother lives in Langley, Virginia, and works for NASA. He's pictured right here. And my younger sister, and this is her wedding, she is pictured right here, and she is a pharmacist in the Kansas City area at a Hy-Vee, and this is me over here. That is my family. I graduated from Beloit High in 2009, and then I went to Wichita State University and got my degree in secondary math education and graduated in 2013. And then coming soon, I'm going to have my master's from Fort Hays, hopefully in December 2022, in educational administration. Some more details. In terms of teaching jobs, I taught at Truesdale Middle School for year 1 through 5. Then I went to Heights High School for 6 through 8, and I just actually accepted a job, and I am going to be relocating to Texas, Frisco, Texas, and I will be teaching at Nelson Middle School, teaching 6th and 7th grade math, and I'm very anxious and excited all at once. And then, of course, I hope to have a future job as a middle school or high school principal or assistant principal anywhere. I'm open to anything. Some other facts about me. I do coach volleyball, basketball, track. I've done a little of all of it, middle school and high school. I have put it on hold for now, though, while I get this master's degree, which is sad, but it needs to be done so I don't overstress myself or overexert myself with doing all these things. A couple other favorite activities. I love walking, being outside, being active. Summertime, I'm in the pool all the time or at the pool. I do play the piano. I tutor a lot of kids for math, being with my family and friends. And of course, now I'm going to be discovering a new city and a new state as I move to Dallas. Some goals I have. Short term is to continue to manage my time well between teaching school and going to school. I've done pretty well for year 1. I'm about to start year 2 in grad school, so wish me luck. And then learning the ways of teaching in a new school in a new state. Long-term goals are, it's becoming shorter term, but to get this master's degree, and then learn to become confident in my administrative role while completing my practicum hours, get an admin job, and start a family. This is a picture of coaching at Heights. This is a couple years old now. And then this is my first year at Heights, all the staff at the end of the year. So just a little bit about myself. Now to the part about school finance, budget, and leadership all together. So the 10 pieces of knowledge that I gained from the research. First of all, principals are treated like the middle managers more than the CEOs of their own school. The significance of this is they don't have as much control as most people think. It's more controlled. The spending is controlled by legislators, district level leaders, people that work in the central office who aren't in the classroom or around students, and they're actually pretty far removed in most cases. So there is a little bit of controversy with this, that they have control of the spending, but they're not right there with the staff, the students. Second piece of knowledge that I gleaned from all this is that state and local dollars actually comprise 92% of all educational spending, which means that not very much federal funding is used. Federal funding has its own issues. State and local officials have the control. State has the control of education, and they use school finance formulas, which tie the hands of many different funds. I'm sure that you know some about that. And that is who gets say over how the dollars are spent. So I was really shocked that 92% comes from state and local dollars. Not very much federal money gets to the schools. The third thing is that district uses a one-size-fit-all model to allocate staffing positions and other resources. This again prevents principals from addressing specific school needs. Again, they're more of a middleman. And coming up with creative solutions and programs, I feel like you can't, like, for example, one school, they might struggle more with reading than another school just because of the student population. And based on a one-size-fits-all, they can only have so many teachers. They can't add that extra teacher. They have to come up with some creative way to do that, and that kind of prohibits it, and it kind of makes them be more creative. It's not good that there's this one-size-fits-all for funding, for staffing, and other resources. So that's kind of complicated in my opinion. Next thing is that local property taxes make up a majority of funding in most states. The significance here, and I've always struggled with this, and I try to learn more about this. I actually went and talked to my principal about this specifically, is that the issue with this is like if you have falling property tax revenues, which was mentioned in the research about this Colorado area, and they had to come up with some creative ways to get more funding. And therefore there's an advantage for the higher property values in the more well-off areas. They have better schools. They have better looking schools. Your urban areas, they might not have as nice a school because the property value in that area is not as high. So again, this is another problem with school funding and school finances. The fifth thing I learned is that principals should really have an accountant or bookkeeper to help them with the auditing for the school account and tracking all the spending and all the budget stuff. Principals already have to be so well versed in so many areas, from special ed to professional learning to all the different classes we've already taken, and on top of that, the budget. So it is important to hire an expert, whether it's a bookkeeper, which is what we have at Heights, or we had since I'm moving, or the research said have an accountant to help you with this, because it's very important, and you can't make a lot of mistakes with money. The sixth thing I learned was principals should be well-versed in terms and conditions and have files for each teacher with their salary changes and job performance details. I thought this was very important. I really hope that principals do this. They need to be aware of each teacher's background. What have they, where have they been? What has their salary changed? How many degrees do they have? What is their pay? And then in terms of the contract, in our district, it's very important that principals are well-versed in the contract and what you can and can't do and all those things. So I thought that was very important to know. Next thing is that school finance formulas and allotments are very restrictive and tie up funds, which leave very little freedom when choosing what to spend funds on. It said in the research that this ties the hands of even the district level people, the principals, and others to spend funds only one way. For example, Title I. You can only certain people get Title I funding, and you have to spend it certain ways. There was an English language acquisition. You have to spend it for that specific thing. So there are a lot of formulas and allocations that tie hands of people from using funds for different things. It's very restrictive, and there's really no room for differences or unexpected events possibly, which I think we saw a little bit of that with this COVID situation. There are 3 main reports that a principal encounters in school finance: income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statement. Each have their own specific roles, which I learned, and the principal needs to be well versed in all 3. The last 2 things, fundraising was mentioned as a method that communities use to support the growth of their schools. I thought that was a good method to get money, because then maybe the hands aren't quite as tight on those things. You can spend the money how you want, but you must know the guidelines of public education and comply with them. And then the last thing is that in order to fix the current school finance, one idea is that principals receive a per pupil funding allotment directly from the state, which they will have full control over. It is kind of like charter schools is what I was told. It is an innovative solution to the issue that we don't give principals enough control, because at the end of the day, principals really do know what's best for their students and their staff, and so they should have more control over this. It has already been used in some states. It's called the Educational Safety Account Program, and I'm anxious to learn more about that and see what happens in the future. So those are the 10 pieces I learned. What have I seen and not seen? I've seen my principal have budget meeting with a bookkeeper. I've seen him crunch numbers in a notebook when we talk about new activities or new ideas. I've seen him discuss what funds to take money out of for different events with the bookkeeper, and I've seen him sign off on checks and spending records, stuff like that. What I haven't seen my principal do much fundraising. That's usually from different leaders of different programs like Stuco or the Cheer program. I haven't seen him use a financial account tool on his computer, which was in the research. I have not seen him have files on teachers, which again, that's pretty confidential. And then I haven't seen him have as much control as he should. I know a lot of times he says he has to call so-and-so or call so-and-so to see what he can do, and that's what I've seen and not seen. Things that I'm worried about is accepting the fact that if I am a principal, I don't have full control over my school's funds and where the money goes. I am concerned about fundraising, if I need to do that, and knowing all the guidelines for fundraising in a public educational setting. I'm scared to make the mistake, like was mentioned in one of these articles about how there was a $1 million deficit of a school because one little mistake. And I'm also concerned about having a bookkeeper or accountant that really understands school finance and will be able to help me and we get along well. So that is what I learned. Here are my resources, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.